Welcome back to Books and Bubbles, the podcast where we talk about our new book obsessions while sipping on tasty drinks themed to our book. Today we're going to be talking about Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is our first romance novel, so we're really excited to see where the conversation takes us. It goes into a little bit of historical romance too, and it's just going to be a really interesting discussion. There was so much that you could go into with this book. If you're somebody in STEM or a woman in STEM, I think this would also really appeal to you for that reason. But Maggie's going to start our first drink.
So to start us off, I got us a Dark Side of the Moon. So what this is vodka, blackberry brandy, and a little bit of club soda. And then I did put food grade activated charcoal in it to get it to look so spooky. And I think it looks pretty Dark Side of the Moony.
Yeah, it has lime juice in it too.
Oh yeah, lime juice too. Yep.
Don't forget about your little blackberries in there.
Oh yeah, there's garnish in there that you can't even see. They're like astronauts floating in space. All right, cheers.
Cheers. Ooh, that's tasty.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite drinks we've done so far.
Thank you. I had a recipe and I completely abandoned it and like did something different. But I do think the flavors are really good.
I really can't taste alcohol in it, like at all.
No, it's almost like blackberry water.
Yeah, it's like a LaCroix, like a good LaCroix that doesn't have the weird LaCroix taste is what I feel like it is.
Yeah, this is what LaCroix should taste like.
Yeah, not like biting on a shoe. Yeah. Sorry.
LaCroix hit us up for sponsorship.
Yeah, right. We are available. Would you know it?
We figured it out. Before we get into spoilers, we wanted to give you guys a little bit of a spoiler-free pitch. If you haven't read this book, you absolutely should. This was my first queer romance that I have ever read. It was also a historical romance. It was set in the 1980s. We follow our protagonist, Joan, and her experience being a woman working at NASA. It was really crazy. You really felt for the character throughout. And there was a lot of struggles that I never really realized people had to deal with. And it was really nice to see it through that lens. I know it was fiction, but obviously that all comes from a true place. Mm-hmm. And you got to follow her struggles with her family, balancing her career, her love, or her life just in general, and finding herself and just what it means to love and have a life and what it's all about. So overall, I thought this was one of the best books I've ever read. I gave it a 5. It takes a lot for me to do that. I guess that's a spoiler. But if you haven't read this book, you absolutely should. It was incredibly well done. It's not incredibly romancy. That is, throughout the book, you can tell that it's an important part, but you also just follow her personal journey. And it's a really beautiful story.
Yeah, it's very character driven. So if you like books that are like that, you're going to like this, even if you're not a big romance reader. It's a closed door romance and super slow burn. Like nothing's really happening for the first half of the book. You're really just getting to know your characters. So definitely my favorite Taylor Jenkins Reid that I've read. And I love her book so much. So just reiterating, read this if you haven't. It's so good.
Yeah.
All right, we will warn you guys when we're headed into spoilers, but we're going to start with just a little bit more spoiler-free discussion. What drew you guys to picking up this book? Was it just because you know this author really well? Was it the space setting, the 1980s setting?
I mean, I have to credit both of you because you guys suggested that we read this book. I hadn't heard about it yet until we were discussing it in the group chat. So you guys sold me on it. I had no clue. I was like, sounds great.
Yeah, I think for me, it was like the TikTok girlies were like loving this book. And I was like, I want to read it. I want to be part of the TikTok girlies and know what's up. So definitely it was that. I just wanted to be a part of like knowing what this book was about.
That's fun. Yeah, for me, it was just Taylor Jenkins Reid. I read all of her books. And so I didn't even know this book was coming out until it showed up on my doorstep. So I opened it on camera and was like in shock a few months ago. And I went in blind. I had no idea what this book was about. So it was definitely not the setting or anything. It was just the author, but it's my favorite book of hers now. So I'm super glad that we read this one.
It was really good.
Yeah. Have you guys read other books of hers?
No.
I don't think so.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
We could do more.
Yeah,
It was great.
we
have work to do.
I was like, I'm excited to read
Wait,
more.
I Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo? No?
It's on my list.
It's on my list too. Yeah.
I don't even
September?
love Daisy Jones, but Daisy Jones and the Six? No?
I'm so
I
sorry.
haven't read that one either.
Malibu Rising?
I'm so sorry.
No.
I'm disappointing you. Stop
guys.
asking. I'm going to let you down every time.
Okay.
I'm so
It's
sorry.
okay. No, that's fun.
I have
mean,
homework.
this is, in my opinion, her best, but her writing is very much how this is, where it's character driven. You just like fall in love no matter what's happening in the book. Like, I would read her laundry list. Like, her laundry list.
I thought that's exactly
honestly, yeah. I would read literally anything she writes because her writing is just so captivating. Like, I would, laundry list.
No, that was honestly perfect. I mean, that's the exact compliment I think you were trying to get.
Yeah. That's too funny.
So like just going into the book, what kind of vibe did you guys get? Was it more of like a suspenseful thing, emotional? Which side did you guys land on? Because we were getting a lot of the character development, but we were also dealing with a very high stakes situation at the same time.
I would say like my first word for like how I felt in the beginning was definitely overwhelmed because I was like, I don't know what's happening. And also, yes, the stakes were so high. And I was just like, I needed to like walk away for a second and just breathe and then assess what just happened. So definitely overwhelmed.
Yeah, I think with it being dual timeline was interesting because that one timeline we start with at the very beginning where things are going catastrophically terribly, like it's so suspenseful and it is overwhelming, but then we only get like a few pages of that and then we jump back to just like Joan's normal everyday life. And so then it's just like, it's just a fun story. You don't really know where, I mean, you know where it's going to end up, but there's nothing crazy going on there. So it was always interesting going back and forth because it went from like, oh, this is just a normal day to like, oh my God, this is the worst thing in the entire world is happening right now. So it was a very interesting dynamic of like, when you pick up the book, am I going to be like feeling okay about myself or am I going to be like in panic mode?
Yeah. That's a really good way to put it. Yeah. I feel like it just depended on what chapter you were in. It really did. But she did a beautiful job of keeping the tensions high either way.
Absolutely. So Bethany, earlier you mentioned that you went in blind to the book. Did you go in blind, Paige?
Always.
Yeah, same. I can't not.
Yeah.
What were your like? I mean, yes, we're going in blind, but like the book's also called Atmosphere, and from the cover we can kind of see, the rocket launch in the aviators. Did you have any expectations? It's just judging the book from the cover. Like, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that my initial thoughts, I was also reading it on the Kindle, so I didn't get to see as much of the artwork and everything. I saw that just like once, but I thought it was going to be more about like a pilot or something. So I was surprised that our protagonist was not.
Yeah, I again went in blind, and so when I first started seeing NASA in it, I was like, I've never read anything about NASA before, and I've never been like super interested, which like I was a STEM student, but for some reason that was just never like the direction that I looked into at all. So I thought it was a really interesting read, but I had no expectations around that going in because I honestly like my baseline knowledge was non-existent.
Yeah, I would say like I have no NASA experience. Yes,
none of us are NASA astronauts. Just to make this clear,
absolutely not. My degree is accounting, also, so like no experience at all. But maybe it's because of that I was like, oh, a space book. Okay, space. Like I didn't know what to expect, and what we got was definitely so much more than I was anticipating, and in like the best way possible. Where I kid you not, I finished this book and then was immediately like, I'm gonna start again. So I loved it. It was great.
All right, we're back with our next drink. I made us hurricanes, which I've never tried before, but in the book, they all go out for an evening of interesting adventures there in New Orleans. And it says that they drink a bunch of hurricanes and they ended up with just wild hangovers the next day. So we're doing the hurricanes, hopefully without the hangovers, because we're just going to drink one. But this has both light and dark rum, grenadine, simple syrup, passion fruit juice, orange juice, and lime juice. So it's quite the concoction, but cheers.
Cheers.
I'm excited and nervous.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, I would
It's actually
Wait,
good.
I really like that.
so many hangovers.
I would drink so many of those though. Like that doesn't taste like alcohol at all.
No, I
Which
totally
is the
see.
problem.
Yeah. This also needs a fun straw.
Yeah.
This like needs a really and an umbrella.
Yes, and we're
Oh my
sitting on like
gosh.
by a pool reading a book
Yes.
with our little hurricanes. That
Say
sounds
less.
delightful. Yeah.
Yes.
Books and Bubble reading retreat.
Yes. On the hurricane.
I love that.
That is so good.
Big fan.
I so want a straw because I would drink that in like 2 seconds if I had a
Yes.
straw. Like, wait.
Stop.
I have a straw.
Oh my God, I love this.
I shouldn't have allowed myself to do that, but
That's amazing.
I'm gonna
She's
be
in
naughty.
trouble now.
I'm
Did
gonna
it help
get
the vibes?
hangover. It does help the vibes. Doesn't that look like that?
Yeah,
that
it's
like
meant to
kinda-
be. Yeah.
Stop. This
It's got
kind of
that-
matches the book. Like,
Oh, I love
do you
it.
see this,
Yeah.
I should have
And
brought
that-
straws.
this, and like sky? Similar. Anyway,
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be. All right, if you guys don't have a hurricane, go grab one.
Yes.
And if you haven't read the book, stop here. We're going to get into spoilers. If you don't want to read the book, you're wrong, but you can keep listening. We like you. And to kick us off, let's talk about Joan. Like, she's our protagonist. She starts us off. She's obviously a complex character. Where do we want to start with Joan?
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, we kick off with her on the ground watching the catastrophic events happen up in the sky. And then we immediately, after being on the edge of our seat and terrified for what's going to happen, even though we don't know anybody involved yet.
No.
We jump back like 4 years previously where she's a professor and she doesn't really have like, it doesn't seem like goals to be outside of that. Like she's in STEM, she's in the career she likes.
Yeah.
But she gets a call from her sister, Barbara, and she tells her that NASA is officially accepting applicants from women. And she's like, no way, really? Like she didn't actually think that she would ever be in that situation. And she applies to be part of that program.
Yeah.
I figured we have
One
to
nice
mention
thing
it.
Barbara did.
Dude, don't get me started on Barbara.
We'll save
yes.
that for later.
Yes.
Barbara,
Let me
rant
just
coming. Say that.
Yes, I don't disagree with you. I did also think like it seemed like Joan did kind of have aspirations for space because she looked into that whole side program that was started that like kind of failed. I don't really remember exactly what it's called, but basically like a previous astronaut was like women can do it too and was like trying to do this like hearing with NASA and they like canceled it and then apparently that like broke Joan's heart and she kind of gave up on it after there, but then when Barbara called her and was like, dude, they want women, she was like, what? They want me in space?
Yeah, I think she said at one point, like, it's not like she dressed up as an astronaut for Halloween or anything because she never saw anybody do that. Like, it wasn't a thing for her.
Yeah.
And so she always loved space, but it just wasn't like a thing that she could aspire for.
Right.
But she did apply, but she didn't actually make it that round.
Yeah.
I loved that she kept trying though. I
Yes.
thought that it just spoke volumes about like, if you just give it a go, you literally have no idea what could happen.
Right.
I mean, super elite position. And she was like, I mean, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. And she seemed content enough with the life that she had before. But I loved that she kept pushing for her dreams.
Yeah, she had worked hard to get where she was. Like she had a great position where she was, but I loved like, that she did that too, and she did make it in that second round.
I loved our little insight to her character though, because when she like told her coworkers that she was going up to like it seemed like she was in a good position, but it seemed like she was the position that like, well, somebody has to do it and you're the woman, so you're gonna do it. And she was like, okay, and not like loving it, but did love academia. And I love that she said something to the effect of like, I'm winning a race they didn't even know they were in. And I was like, you go, girl. I loved that.
I did too. And I think it was her boss who was like, how did you even do that? And she was like, luck. And then she's like, in her head, she's like, yeah, right. Like,
she's like, I should have said that. I actually worked really fucking hard. But I loved it.
Yeah, it's a kind of a nod to like, I feel like what it was probably like back then being a woman in STEM, like constantly discredited and not being thought of as somebody who's like necessarily belonging there. Like she was like the misfit of the group in NASA as well.
Yeah.
Like not really, there's a few women, but it was still a male dominated field. And I feel like they were all the women were still fighting for their spot there and felt like they had something to prove.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What was it? Was it Lydia that was the only one that seemed to really be kind of going along with it?
Because the guys would make really condescending, misogynistic jokes constantly.
Yeah.
And Joan was not having it. She was like, yeah, absolutely not. And Lydia would be just like giggling along. And she's like, you're making steps backward for us. Like, why are you laughing along? Like, you should be making it apparent that's like not okay for them to be doing.
I liked that they had those conversations throughout the book though and had that confrontation. I thought that like just the conversation and the experience and seeing how the women came together was also such a really cool storyline.
It was.
Yeah. I do think that was like my favorite like conversation in the book that wasn't related to like the romance aspect, where it did seem like Lydia's character is a little rough around the edges. I know we haven't really talked about her much, but besides from laughing at the like the super sexist jokes, she's like kind of not the most likable person at all.
She's an acquired taste.
She is like, and Joan was really the only one who was giving her like the time of day almost. And I did appreciate seeing that side of Joan's character to be like, why are you doing this? Like, I don't agree with you. You're setting women up so far backwards. And to listen to Lydia's response to being like, no, I'm playing the game so that all women can be here because we're still on trial right now. Like, even though we're here, we haven't made it to space yet. And I don't want NASA to change their mind, basically, is what she was saying. And that was such an interesting conversation to see the characters have. And I do love, too, that Joan was also like, I wonder what Vanessa's take would have been, which was so fun.
Yeah, you can be working towards the same goal and look at something from a completely different perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Lydia did seem kind of like it was a competition between the women too, though, because for
Yeah.
the rest of them, they seemed like they built each other up and were just really excited that they all had this collective opportunity. Yeah. But we saw, I mean, we're kind of jumping ahead, but we see when Joan gets an opportunity, Lydia immediately is like, why isn't it me? Like, it should be me. I worked hard for this. You didn't. And Joan's like, no, I did. And she's like, no, but I deserved it more. And she's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
Joan really big sistered her.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Joan just, I mean, we're going to talk about her all day long, but Joan just as a character is one of my favorite characters I've read in a book. Like, I just, like, I aspire to be Joan. Like, Joan is amazing.
Yes. Yeah, she was always so strong and so confident and so smart.
Mm-hmm.
And then also so willing to, like, see people where they are. Because, like, I mean, let's talk a little bit more about Lydia. She was rough. She basically came in and was like, I'm the smartest in the room. And, like, Donna was also in, like, her kind of similar, like, sphere almost. Like, NASA wanted them for similar things. And she looked at Donna and she was like, that's my competition. I got to take her out. Whereas I feel like Donna came in and was like, I'm happy to be here. Let me show you what I can do. And Lydia was, I don't know. What do you guys feel about Lydia?
I liked seeing her character development. I felt like she had the right idea for some things, but was going about it all in the wrong way. Like, I mean, her motivations for women and the overall goal, her heart was in the right place, but she was just not a team player. She was really still just out for herself. I don't think she was looking at the problem as a whole.
And she admitted that too. She was like, my problem is that I think I'm the best.
Yeah. Which we love some self-awareness.
Yes.
So,
yeah. And she was very much like, she was so self-aware, actually. Yeah. She was like, I have a problem, Joan. I can clearly see that you have this thing figured out. I don't know what's wrong with me. I love that they were just so open with each other.
Yeah.
As like hard as the conversations were to read, and just to be like, geez, Lydia, like what is going on? I was like, it was still very honest. So I liked it all, no matter what.
I think Joan had a way with people where she could really get to the root of what their issue was. And we saw it with her niece too, which we'll get into a little bit later. But when her niece lashed out, she had the same thing where she was able to just break it down to like, what's the actual issue here? Because you're not doing this for no reason. So when Lydia would lash out at her, it wasn't like, hey, like, I mean, she did kind of correct her, like, what you're saying is not true. But also she got to the root of it, which was Lydia actually wanted advice from her to be like, how do I get to where you are? Because I thought I was doing all the right things and I'm not where you are right now.
Yeah, she's like, I recognize you have something that I don't, and I don't know what that is. And I'm telling you that it should be me because that's what I believe. But I know that it's not because you have something I can learn.
Yeah, but she still had to insult her a few times
such
before.
A really good way to just summarize that whole conversation.
Yeah. Although, like, when she was like, I see you're a Soviet, I'm going to turn you in. I was like, Lydia, come on, girl. She was like, I know, I'm going to turn you in right now. And then Joan just hugged, like, loved her.
Yeah,
to
she's like, okay, Lydia. Like, sure.
I forgot that happened. That was so stupid.
Yeah, no, she was like, you're a Soviet, I'm going to turn you in. And then
I feel like Lydia was like that, though. She had to wrap up any, like, nice thing she could have said, which at the end of the day was a compliment. Like, you did this, and I want advice to be more like you. But then also I need to insult you before and after I say that.
Literally. Yeah. I think that
she's a Sour Patch Kid.
Yeah, that's just Lydia's personality.
Yeah.
Which also, like, Lydia did save the rest of the crew in our beginning story. Like, she's the one that, like, saved everybody from dying, which is, like, it seemed like because we got more of Vanessa's POV when we're there, it definitely seemed like the only person who believed that Lydia would and could do that was Joan. Everybody else was like, Lydia did that? At least Joan or Vanessa was like, wait, Lydia saved us?
I like that aspect to it because it gave her a full arc of character development. We see that she did end up getting up to space, and she, despite not making it in the end, she was able to, with her basically dying moments, save Vanessa. And that was a cool character development because I would not have pegged her as somebody who would be capable of that in the beginning of the book when we're reading about her at the beginning. So I like that about her because I feel like she made her unlikable, but then at the end of the day, she just, you have to like her a little bit.
She was a redeemed character.
Yes. Yeah.
But I do think she made it.
I thought so
that's
too.
Lydia. Oh my God. Yeah. I didn't read the last 5 pages when I reread. Yeah.
I was literally
Wait.
about to. I was like, wait, did Lydia actually die? 'Cause
No,
that's
she
No,
did.
I was like, I
horrible.
swear she
So-
made it, but I didn't do
no,
the reread.
she
to the
absolutely
end.
did. I forgot because
She stopped reading for the
Yes.
last 6 pages because she knew she was
Yes.
gonna cry.
I read it once though, but it was a month and a half ago, and in my head, I like forgot that she was also the other one who made it. But yes,
Yeah.
she does make it. Yay!
Yeah.
Okay, Lydia.
Yeah.
Lydia.
Yeah.
You
My bad,
survived.
guys.
She's gonna get her second lease on life.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. She's gonna read. Hopefully, she's gonna.
That's too funny.
I hope we read Lydia's story next.
Yeah. Right.
Lydia learns how to love.
Right, dude. Where do we want to start with Vanessa?
I mean,
There's
you
so
could go
much.
anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the first people that Joan encounters when she's at NASA, one of the only women, wasn't she like the second one in? Or no, she was like last.
And she was the last person. It says she was the last person to dash in before he began to speak. And I love the intro
Yes.
for her because she lays eyes on her and she describes her so vividly. Like everything about her, she nails
Yeah.
to a T.
Oh, yeah.
And says the last thought that went through her head was, "That's an astronaut,"
Yes.
which is so cool.
I highlighted that too. I was
Me
like,
too.
she got her. Vanessa's also Joan's like love interest that we have throughout, and I personally feel like this was my first queer romance, and I think it was so beautifully done like throughout, because we kind of get this little aspect of Vanessa telling Joan like, I know who I am, do you know who you are, like kind of hinting at like, you're breaking so many men's heart and you know why.
Yeah.
And I know why.
Vanessa
Do you?
clocked it way before, and she was nudging
Yes.
her in that right direction, but she never
Yeah.
like told her. She wanted her to discover her own self.
Yes.
And like allowed her the space to do that, despite the fact that she honestly knew in her head.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really, I had never read a book like that either, and it was so well done. But and I liked the slow burn aspect of it too,
Yeah.
and just being able to see her find herself throughout the book. I liked that Vanessa wasn't in her face or
Yeah.
anything like that. I think it made it that much more special.
Yeah, to me, I think it was the most well-developed romance book I've ever read. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like I knew both the characters and loved them together so much. I think
Yes.
a lot of romance kind of are super steamy throughout the book and kind of jump in right away. This built, and you got to watch it build in a
Yes.
way that made you so invested in them. And
Yeah.
you didn't need you don't need the spice in this book. There is no spice, and it's just done so beautifully. And I loved them so much.
But I think
Yeah.
that their argument was one of my favorite parts.
I was
Yes.
gonna say I love the way that like Joan did mention like, how can I like say the most awful things to this person and they say the most awful, like not the most awful, but like hurt each other on purpose to make me feel better and still fall deeper and deeper in
Yeah.
Yeah.
like throughout. And I was like, man, Joan's in love.
But it was so real because they talked. I mean, she talked about their arguments and the
Yeah.
things that they did that bothered each other, but you still like the amount that they loved each other just like was the
Yes.
overarching theme that you just saw the love. Like you,
Yeah.
as you're reading, like I felt their love in their fictional characters, and it like breaks
Yes.
my heart that they are because I feel like they're my friends now. But
I know. And I felt like their arguments that they like didn't give us, but like kind of teased were like so true to their characters too,
Yes.
that like I had no problem like filling in the blanks in my own brain.
Mm-hmm.
Where I was like, yeah, they would fight about that. I totally know it. All right. So I'm sure we're going to talk about Vanessa a lot more, but maybe we should like go back to
Donna. She was
Yeah.
the other female
Yeah.
astronaut that we got a lot of her perspective, and she went a very different route from the other two,
yeah.
or other three, sorry, women astronauts.
Yeah. Yeah. So she kind of like fell in love
Yeah,
and got
right away.
pregnant and got married, which was like not what she was there to do, but it was a beautiful journey from like seeing it.
I loved how unbothered she was throughout the entire experience.
Yes.
She was just like, I can do it all, actually. I'm just going to do this thing, and my
Yeah.
kid's going to understand. And I love everything so much that I'm simply going to make room for all of it in my life because that's my choice. I loved her character so
Yes.
much. She was just like, I'm Donna. I am doing this now.
yeah.
Yeah.
And she did defend it. Like Joan asks and kind of like pokes in like why, or Vanessa actually. Vanessa is asking her like why, how she's going to navigate this, like how she's going to still achieve her goals. And as you said, she says, because it feels good to love someone. It feels better than
yeah.
anything on this earth. And I bet better than anything up there. So she's like,
Yes.
this is my purpose. And I think she still has dreams of getting there eventually,
Yeah.
but she's like, I'm happy where I'm at right now. And
Yeah.
that's where I'm going to be.
And she was
Yeah.
talking about like, I'll get to talk about it with my daughter one day.
Yes.
And I was like,
Yeah.
cool. Awesome. Love
Yeah,
that.
and she also was so smart about it too, because she hid her pregnancy for like a long time just to be like, I'm not gonna let this set me back in my career. I can have both. I can fake drinks. It's fine. And I thought that was like super smart of her to like she just seemed so intentional with everything that she did.
Yeah. I liked too that she had so much support. I understand that Joan and Vanessa couldn't have that same level of support.
Yeah.
I think that Donna was very silently supportive of them. But
Yes.
it was really great to see how those that were in her circle, she was creating her village throughout too. So
Yeah.
I liked seeing that. She wasn't a solo character by any means.
No.
She was there for the community.
Yeah.
And I do want to say, I like that about this book a lot. I think a lot of books, you see these side characters and you like know them. You're like, oh, this is Joan's friend. This is so-and-so's friend. But like, we actually got to know the side characters. Like, I feel like I have more information on them than you do in most books.
Yeah.
And I really like that about it. Like, I would read a spin-off book about any of these side characters.
Yeah.
I think they did a really good job of picking and choosing how the characters would interact because you were seeing such honest and real conversations between people that you just never see in real life with like it was just very deep honest conversations as if people were best friends for a long time, and it gave you really good insight on both sides. But you don't get that in most books because they're just trying to further the plot with the conversation and explain what's going on.
Yeah.
But this was all about feeling. This book was about the experience of life, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It wasn't, I mean, yeah, it was a romance book. Yeah, it was a STEM book and all of that. But I think overall it was like, okay, are you going to look at your life differently now? And I don't know. I thought that part was just so cool.
It really makes you think. Like it's a book that you don't just put down and be like, oh, next book. Like I still think about this story after I read it like a month and a half ago, and now it's fresh in my mind, obviously. But
I know, like to that point, this book ends, and it like all books have to. But I was like, is there gonna be another one? Like I still want to read it. Like I want so much more because I did feel like so connected to every character. Like.
And that's a sign of a good book where you finish last page and you're like, no, I'm done. Like
Yeah.
there's so many books that I love. And it's like, okay, what's the next book? Like I'm ready for it to be done. But even if I loved it, but this was truly a book that like doing my reread, I was so happy to be rereading it. I'm like, I'm back with the characters I
You're
love.
like, I'm home again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my least favorite thing about the standalone books is that I'm a binge, whatever I'm doing, I'm binging.
Yeah.
So if it's a TV show, I'm watching it start to finish, even if I don't like it. I gotta know everything about everyone. I just have to finish it out. And it makes me so sad when I can finish these out so fast.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, but where's the next? Like, there's gonna be.
But
a
now you
next
guys
one,
can read all the other Taylor Jenkins read and know there won't be a next one because she doesn't do series, unfortunately.
I know. It just bums me out.
But
I'm
you have
glad
a whole backlist of books to read now.
I know. It's just so hard. It just makes me, that's why I never picked up standalone books before. I was like, I always just have to get into a series, and I would always go to a series and then a series and then reread and reread. So it's important to do, but it breaks my heart every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But now
you're
you guys
not
have a
wrong.
new favorite author you can read.
Yeah, and to your point, Bethany, I do feel like these characters are so well done that, like, even though I'm not going to have another book, I do feel like I know exactly where they're going.
Yes.
Like, I don't feel like I'm going to be like, what?
Oh, right.
Where do they go from here? I know.
Yeah.
They live happily ever after.
Yeah, they all live in my heart, okay?
I'll keep them right.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, they're not going anywhere.
Nice and safe.
Yeah. Anyway.
Never to space again.
I think I do think they will.
Huh.
I don't think Joan will.
I don't
but-
think Joan will.
No,
No.
she makes it clear that which self-aware queen. Like she did it and she was like, awesome, I did it. I got my little pin.
I feel like I could be pretty self-aware if I was puking for 5 days, though.
Fair. I feel like some people though like would just want to do it just to like say they did it again. I don't know. Like it's such a cool thing to be able to do, and so to be able to immediately be like, yeah, no, I like being on the ground better. Like that's still impressive because I mean when you're in it, of course, and you're puking all those times, you're like, yeah, I'm never doing this again. But I feel like that's different than when you're not doing it anymore. Like
way different. But it wouldn't be hard for me to want to go home if I was thrown up. But,
for sure.
But I love the insights that she did make about when she finally did like look out the window and stuff, and she was just like, I want office now. I want to go home this second. Like I was surviving. Now I got to go home.
But I do feel like that played it so well to her character, where it's like she knew she belonged on Earth.
I mean, that was the whole idea, right? It was like she wanted to, like, going to space was her goal, and it gave her answer.
Yeah.
No matter what, I think that she got that full circle experience.
And she found a home.
Yes.
she had to get back to Francis.
Yes. Yeah.
It Ooh, should we talk about Francis? Or is there more?
Or should we talk about the men? Because we totally skated the men, which
I mean,
I'm not mad at.
I don't mind going to Francis.
I was gonna say.
So
Well,
there are
we
men in this book.
Yeah, there are men.
We
They're not
should
that
give
relevant.
props to some of the men.
Yes.
Because Hank was
Yes.
excellent.
Yep.
And Griff was excellent. as well.
Griff was,
Yeah.
Griff hurt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Griff
Griff.
was a little painful. Griff had quite the crush on Joan, and Joan didn't know who she was for a little while. So
Yeah.
she kind of at first wasn't realizing what he was doing when he was kind of pursuing her. And Vanessa was like, hey, you're stringing him along. Like, he loves you. And she's like, no, we're just friends. And she brings it to the point of kissing him and then realizing that she does not.
immediately hates it. She's like,
oh, nope.
even when like they had like this little moment where she was like, I can tell he likes me and I hate when I get here. Like she said something like so like it never goes that quiet. It always like gives a little kick or something weird like that where she's talking about like squashing the romance part of this friendship. And it was like brutal the way
Yes.
she described it.
But he took it so well. Like, he was like, yeah, it's
did.
going to hurt.
Yeah.
So I'm going to need some space, but it'll be okay.
Yeah.
And then when they finally were like, we're okay now.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
was so.
Yeah.
It's so heartwarming. And, then,
love
and she's like, okay, we can go to dinner
Yeah.
again. And he's like, one step at a time.
Yeah,
Like, let's start
he was
walking
like-
home together first.
He was like, no, I still can't do that.
But that's Griff, and like his whole character is like that. Like
Yes.
he
Yeah.
really liked Joan, but he was so considerate of her the whole time. And
Yes.
it seemed like he had an idea the whole time that she was probably not going to be into
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
And he was very accepting of her even after he realized, because I think he
Yeah.
clocked like why she wasn't.
He
into
was
him.
the kind of guy that said no when she was drinking too, and just like
Yes.
kiss me, and he's like, not like this.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And then she even said like, I won't want to when I'm sober. And he was like, then
Exactly.
we shouldn't.
Right.
Then we really shouldn't.
Yes. He was such a great guy.
Yeah.
Rip.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was like that was the saddest
Yeah.
character death.
Oh,
Yeah.
by
Like
far.
by far. It was
Yeah.
really, really brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Death yes.
Still hurts.
Yeah.
Moment, no.
No.
Yeah.
It was hard though.
Yes.
Was it Steve that died up there too? Wasn't it? Because it was
yeah.
Helena's
I
husband.
think so, Steve.
Yeah.
We didn't really get to know Steve or Helena really well.
It seemed like Vanessa was closer with Steve because he was the one that let her like fly,
Yes.
which was like
Yeah.
if we had like a Vanessa POV a little bit more, I think Steve would have been like heart shattering.
Yes.
If we got a little bit more even of just like Vanessa realizing it, like because it was such a tense moment and everything
Yeah.
needed to be very go 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 when she found out there was no time for grieving really.
Yeah.
But I wish that we might have got that like inner monologue a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, she kind of
Well,
starts
you
it.
kind of can't though because it's so early.
I was gonna say it's
on.
early enough that you don't even really know who Steve is.
You
Yeah.
don't know who Steve is, but she like starts to like mourn him and then like stops and it was like, I don't want to think about that anymore. And like almost like her like it must be like a trauma thing where she's like in the moment and she's like, ooh, I gotta put that away so I can survive. Like,
she said something about like she couldn't work herself up because then she'd like die because
Yeah.
she has
Yeah.
to keep herself regulated. So she said something in her head where it's like, if I start to spiral, it's over, and it'd
Yeah.
be so easy to do that right now.
Yes.
Like it'd be the easiest path, but I can't do that. I have to fix the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad she made the decision she did.
Yeah,
it
but oh
would've
my God.
I
Yes.
mean, if you wanted to just sob for like way longer, she could have destroyed everyone with this book.
Yes.
Oh, I
Yes.
thought she did.
I did
For the
too.
longest-
I'm talking. Listen, I was destroyed.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
can you imagine if she had gone into all of that and just made all the other?
Yeah, let's talk about that in a little
my
bit.
God.
I can't bring it up
So,
right now.
so fun fact, I was doing a reading vlog the first time I read this,
Oh,
and I was doing a
no.
little challenge of trying to read a book in one day.
Yes.
And as I said, I went in blind. So I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
cool, Taylor Jenkins Reid. I've never cried at a Taylor Jenkins Reid book. I love
Oh,
her books.
no.
They're great. They're a lot of fun. They have really cool characters in them.
Yeah.
I'm going in blind, and I was like, I often record like myself reading the end of the book so I can put little snippets in and do a voiceover of what I thought about it. So I put my little camera up, press record, and I'm reading the last like 50 pages. And then I'm just reading the last 50 pages and I'm like, oh my God, what's happening? And I just have footage and it's on TikTok of me just I barely posted it. I was like, this is so
You
embarrassing.
were like, do I delete?
there's
Do I
like-
pretend I
yeah.
didn't do it?
There's like tears and snot. Like I'm a disaster. And I kept it. I was like, honestly, that's a good pitch for the book. It's amazing. It's a
Yes,
tearjerker.
it's
But by
so
the end,
good.
like there's a point where I'm like sobbing and then I'm like, wait, it's gonna be okay in the end. And then I'm like happy, but then I'm happy crying. Like I was just a mess.
Yeah.
So that's the ending in a nutshell. You cry until you're happy crying, and then
Dude, I was in the car with Brandon, and all of a sudden, like I'm reading, and then I just start sobbing, and we're like stuck in traffic.
He's like, I'm sorry, there's
was
not
like,
a bathroom.
Are you okay? And I was like, I gotta. And then he's like, okay. And then he's like, let me know if you need to talk. And I was like, okay. Like, and I'm like trying to get through. And then I finally get to the like last bit, and I was like, oh. And then he was like, oh my gosh. And he was like, really? And I was like, yes. Yeah. I mean, we'll get into it more later, but
yeah. No, you said you finished the book, and I probably shouldn't have said this because Maggie hadn't finished it, but I was like, did you cry? Because to me, I'm like,
I was crying way before the end.
Anyway. I was crying
multiple times.
extensively. So I was like, if I was the only, like, if you were just like, no, I was like so nervous for your text back. I'm like, if she just says no, I don't know what to do with that. Like,
No.
How's this conversation going to be? I'm like, I sobbed, and you guys are going to be like,
I almost sent a picture of myself crying.
I did.
Did you take one? I almost did. But here was the thing. I knew Maggie wasn't done, and I didn't want to. I was like,
you should have taken it.
We
We could have put 3 pictures up of us all sobbing.
Yeah, and there would have been 3 pictures of us all sobbing.
Oh, so you get away, but we can
but we
can
have
clip
it.
in us crying ugly.
Yeah.
It wasn't cute.
No, I'm like so small. I look
Yes.
like a Oompa Loompa. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's like one of those really ugly up the nose shots too. I was like, if I'm crying, whatever.
It was also live, just in case you were wondering.
What?
It was
It
also
was a
live.
live picture. Nice. Well, mine's a video, so.
You really just saw that to your fault. That's what you're saying.
So
That's
you
great.
just Scotch free, and we both have essentially
Yeah,
videos.
I was
of
gonna
us
say-
ugly crying.
So I have blackmail.
Yeah. Great.
No, Bethany already put hers on the internet.
Yeah, no, it's
Just
there.
exists.
I
I
was
was gonna
wondering
say-
if you guys had seen that or not going in and knew that it was going to be a tearjerker, and I didn't want to ask because I was like, I don't want them to know if they don't know. Did
Yeah.
you know it was a tearjerker? Like, had you seen that?
No. I went in blind.
I had some inkling because, like
you-
I
you
said,
saw
the
other
TikTok
people,
girlies.
yeah.
And I was like, okay, my heart's gonna be broken. Can't wait.
Yes, yeah. I made one of my friends read this, and she texted me like 30 or 40 pages in, and she's like, I'm not really into this. I might DNF it. And I was like, no, like, you're not allowed.
Yeah.
And so she finished it, and she texted me. She was like, fuck you. I loved it so much, but also fuck you. I hate you for making me read that. I'm sobbing so hard. I've never
Dude.
cried this hard in my life. It was a whole like saga, and I was like, my bad.
That's so funny.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
Tawny, I told you have to read this. That's all I'm gonna say.
And shout out Sarah, our podcast member, who's now across the country, but she's reading it right now, and I'm so excited for her to get to the end because
Nice.
Yeah.
we need her reactions too.
Oh yeah, I started sending stuff in our group chat in like invisible ink because
Yes.
I was like, I can't spoil this for Sarah.
Yes. Yeah. I'm also gonna make my husband read this whenever I like love a book this much. Like this is in my top 10 books of all time for sure. I like
Yeah.
make him read my annotated version of it. I'm like,
Ooh.
here you go. Give
Yeah.
me your thoughts.
Yeah,
That's cute.
So I'm
I like
excited
that.
for that.
yeah, that's so cute.
Yeah, I can only get Brandon to do audiobooks.
But it's apparently good audio.
I listened to it. Yeah, so my experience was I was listening to it literally the last like I don't know 30 minutes of the book. Sobs, gasping. Tyler's like in the same room as me, like gets up and leaves because I think he's like, "Ooh, she needs space." Give it to her. Somebody tried to call me. The way I declined that so fast, I was like, "There's no fucking way." I'm like red in the face sob, and yeah, it was it. But the audiobook is great. It's fantastic, actually.
I'm going to do a third reread with the audiobook. I was hoping my audio copy would come in time, but honestly, I flew through my read through of the physical book again. It's so good.
Yeah, it's.
Have you guys
great.
cried with other books before? Or is
Oh,
this
yeah.
different?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm
do you
not
mean?
heartless.
Okay.
Are you kidding?
Because I mean, some people literally don't. They're just like, no, it's just a book. And like, I don't understand that,
What?
but
Did you
there are
read it?
people like that. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah,
no,
let
I
us know
can't
if you
even say that.
didn't cry.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
let us
that's
know
the
if you're a
more-
sociopath.
That's the more important question.
Yes. No, this was so. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about the characters some more. I could like spiral on like how
Right.
much this book like broke and rebuilt my heart like so many times.
Yeah. The only other thing that I guess we could say about the men is just like the overall. Oh, actually, there's one other person. What was the
Jerk's name?
no
Oh,
way to go off though? Go ahead.
what was it? His name was like Jason, wasn't it? Or was it?
Oh, I know
I
who you're
don't
talking
remember,
about.
but I know
So
who you're talking
forgettable.
about.
Yeah, he's so
it went out
forgettable.
my brain.
Such a man. No. Yeah, no, he was awful. He wasn't that important throughout, but like every single time his character was in, he was in there just to like insult women or kind of threaten Joan that one time when he was like, "Oh, you guys are together really early and really late."
Yeah.
That's weird. And Joan handled that so well where she was like, "Oh, you've never had a friend before." I was like, "Great job."
Yes.
But that's all there is to say about that guy. Other than that, he's like forgettable.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember his name. But
Who
you're
was the guy
thinking-
that let her say,
It's Jack.
Oh,
His
it's
name?
Jack. Yes.
Because
Yeah.
he puts his hand on Joan's shoulders and he says, "Tell her what you need her to hear." And he whispers
Yeah.
that to her.
I think he's over like the control center
yeah,
at NASA.
because was it Antonio that called her into the office and was
Yes.
like, "Hey, be careful."
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
Yep.
Jack is above him
Mhm.
or same level.
I think so. My understanding, I mean, I didn't go into the politics of NASA, but the way I read it, I felt like Antonio was over NASA and like specifically like the space exploration piece, and then Jack was over like the command center on
Mhm.
ground and was like running those people.
I
That
just,
was my understanding.
I loved that he was like, "This is so much more important than anything
Yes.
else."
Yeah.
I'm glad that people's priorities to a certain point were still human.
yeah.
Yeah, and it was, I mean, up to that point, it's really hard to read when you're hearing Joan talk to Vanessa because she's having to keep it so professional, but they're still trying to give
Yeah.
little snippets of like telling each other the things they need to hear, but they're not really. They're just like trying to sneak
Yeah.
little bits in, and you're like, "Oh my God, I just want you to be able to say it, but you can't." But like,
Yeah.
you want
Yeah.
them to.
Yeah, and Joan
We'll get
even-
so much more into
yeah,
it.
know,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
probably
Okay, okay. That's
All I'm
fine.
going to say is that there were some men that totally respected the women and gave them a leg to stand on just by treating them like people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's all they did was treat them the same way that they would any other coworker. That was it.
Mhm. I think we've touched on a lot of the important characters in NASA, but we definitely have to talk about Barbara and Frances. So Barbara is Joan's sister, and we kind of get a snippet of her at the beginning. She's the one who introduces Joan to the idea that NASA is accepting women.
The
Think
one
that-
nice thing she
yeah,
did.
we think,
I was
oh,
gonna
it's
say,
so
we
great.
teased that.
Yeah. Not so great in the end of the day. Barbara, you have a lot of choice words for that woman.
Yeah. Yeah. Heartless, bitch. Crazy.
Selfish.
Selfish. ugh.
Horrible mother.
Yes, horrible mother.
Horrible sister. Like just
Horrible
bad
sister.
person. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like,
could
she
make a whole list.
Failed to grow up and
Yes.
care.
Yeah, victim. That's another good word
Yes.
for her. Oh my
Yes,
God.
she was such a victim. And what killed me too was how much the mom wanted to be involved.
Yes.
And she just wasn't. And
Mhm.
then Joan was still dealing with everything, but Barbara wouldn't even go to her mom who wanted to be there for her, that said,
Mhm.
"Hey, I love you. I love your daughter. I'm right over here. Please accept me into your heart." And she was just like, "Everything's impossible for me. Joan, you have to
Yeah.
help me."
She
Yeah.
wanted to be in that victim role, but also dump Frances on Joan whenever she wanted to, but she wanted to feel like she had no support and nobody there to help her, but also would make Joan help her no matter what.
Yeah, and take money from her parents.
Yes.
I do want to back up. If you have not read this book, you don't know who Barbara is. So that just means you like us. Barbara is a bitch. Okay, she is Joan's sister who got pregnant early, young,
Yeah.
unmarried in 1980, right? I'm not going to say that wasn't hard. But Barbara made a choice and then leaned on Joan. What pisses me off the most about Barbara's character is Joan spells out how much she was there for Barbara when nobody else was, when it was taboo, when it was gross, when it was like unacceptable to be an unmarried woman with a kid. And she was continuously there for Barbara and her daughter Frances. And Joan felt like she couldn't be that much herself with Barbara because of the kind of person that Barbara was.
Oh yeah, she was walking a tightrope. She knew what
Yes.
she had to do to make Barbara think that she was the one doing everything, but then Joan was actually the one stepping up and being there for
Yes.
Frances. But in Barbara's eyes, she's been just like the only one dealing with this her whole life. Like, meanwhile,
Yeah.
Joan has been picking up all the pieces that she's leaving behind constantly.
What killed me too was the way that Barbara had initially been dealing with the pregnancy when she was deciding at the time whether or not it seemed like she was going to keep the baby or what she was going to do. She was like, "Oh my gosh, this is the end of the world. This is awful."
Yeah, so I think I remember like she called Joan and was like, what do I do? What do I do? And then had to get off the phone because her roommate came in. And then all of a sudden she was like, it's my calling in life. Joan didn't bat a fucking eye. She was like, okay, like,
I'm there for you.
yeah.
We got this.
And then when they're at the grocery store and Joan's like, I want to invite a friend. And she was like, you can't invite a girlfriend. That'll make you look, what a bitch. Like, how can you? And she like constantly is like, you don't know what love is. You don't understand, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, Barbara, take a hint.
Yeah.
My God.
I think she's actually a narcissist is the way, not to just be like self-diagnosing her,
Yeah.
but like she gave narcissist vibes where everything was affecting her and woe was her, but nobody else could have any issues. And if they do, then that's their problem. But like, man, her life is so hard. And yeah.
And more of her problem that she has somebody in her life that has problems.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it just made you feel for Frances so much.
Yeah. And she navigated it like a champ, like the way that she was able to like, or not Frances, I thought you said Joan.
Sorry.
No, you're
I said
good.
Frances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but the way that Joan navigated Barbara was incredible to read. Like she knew how to, almost like manipulate her into thinking that Barbara was the one still doing everything. But the way that she was able to be around Frances and talk to Frances, like it was made my heart warm.
Yeah. 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 Let's talk about Frances and Joan. They were so
we
special.
love Frances.
Yes.
Yeah, they were so sweet together. I felt for Frances so much because it really, I mean, at the end of the day, that little girl just didn't feel wanted.
Nope.
No.
And it was so evident in her mother's behavior. And it's like, I mean, under no circumstance could a child feel any other way.
No.
Being rejected by the parent that is supposed to love them. It kills me all the time. Like you see it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just wish she would have kept her initial like, oh, this is such a blessing. This is my calling. I'm so excited.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she ended up with some postpartum or what changed there, or if she. It seemed like she was just always like that though.
Yeah, you go ahead.
No, I was just say it did seem like that. I think the first snippet that we got of it was when Joan was going to pick her up and Frances is just sitting on the step locked out of her home. And she's like 7 at this time. And Joan's like, Barbara, like, what the hell? Like, why is your kid locked out of your home? And you're like, well, you were going to be there soon. And she was like, she was out there for more than half an hour. And she's like, well, that's your fault for being late. Like, how is that okay in any situation? And she's like, well, what if I never came? She's like, she would have been fine.
I
She's a
would've been
smart
back
kid.
in an hour.
You baby her. Like,
Yeah.
And that was the first time that you're like, really like, wow. Like, that's so sad.
Yeah, I have no respect for Barbara.
No.
I don't either. No, and I do think like Barbara eventually meets somebody and then just decides to abandon Frances after that.
Oh yeah, let me just ship you off to boarding school. You'll have so many friends there. You're gonna have a great time. And then just like still, even when she could come home.
What broke my heart the most, and I think Joan as well, was Barbara goes, well, she wants to go to boarding school. And Joan's like, is that true? Do you want to go? And she's like, yeah, Mom says I'll have friends.
Yeah,
My
I'm
heart.
devastated. She's like, people will want me there.
Yeah.
And it all comes down to that of her not feeling wanted. And when Joan eventually takes her to boarding school and basically makes Barbara sign over her rights, Frances literally says, you want me at your apartment? And she's like, yes, like I really do. And that's like such an emotional moment. And
I was sobbing.
me too.
Yeah.
And she always made her feel like that. Even when Barbara was dropping the ball, she would word it like, when Barbara would be like, oh, I'm leaving for the weekend, you have to take Frances. Like, no choice. Drop all your plans. Here's Frances.
Yes.
And then she'd tell Frances, like, oh, I was asking your mom if I could take you for the weekend.
Yes,
and she finally said
lied
yes.
to her in like a heartwarming way where she felt so wanted.
Yes. And even when she was like left at school that next Monday, I think it was, she told the principal, she was like, can you have her be in the library and tell her that I'm on my way and I'm so excited to spend the afternoon with her. Like she always made her feel like she was her number one priority and that she really wanted to spend that time with Frances. And like that is what I wish for every kid who has a parent like Barbara. And I know that's not the reality for everybody, but I just, that is like, I'm glad that she did
When
have
Joan
her.
went into like mama bear mode, I
Yeah.
was like, that's a mother.
Yes.
Right there. Like that was crazy. That to me, don't get me wrong, Joan accomplished a lot of things in this book. I mean, she's a freaking astronaut.
Yeah.
But confronting her sister
Oh my
and
God.
doing that, I think was the most impressive thing that she did.
It was in the way that she did it too, because she didn't want to just be like, you're a piece of shit, sign over your rights. Like, I don't want anything to do with you. She recognized that the best thing for Frances was still to see her mom show up to her in some capacity. And so she's like, you're going to sign this over, but you're also going to call tomorrow and wish her a happy Thanksgiving. You're going to stay on the phone for at least 10 minutes. And if you don't call, I'm going to bother you until you do. Like she she just truly wants the best for Francis. And that's that was amazing.
It's unconditional love.
And Joan even clocked that was Barbara's plan from the beginning.
Yep.
Was to dump her kid onto Joan as soon as she met somebody, which also like boggles my mind why she didn't like choose her mom.
Yeah.
Because that seems like, I mean, Joan is Barbara's older sister. They're about the same age in life. And how you can like look at somebody going through life experiences the same time you are and be like, this is for you now. I don't want this for me anymore. And I'm having such a hard time and I'm like in an uncomfortable position being a single mom. So now I'm going to make you a single mom. Like, I'm sorry, but your mom has experience being a mother, and you would think, given what we know about the mother, like it seemed like she gave the girls a really good childhood. She supported them really well. And I just feel like that adds like another twisted layer of manipulation onto Barbara, that she was like, I'm going to give this life to my sister instead.
Yeah,
like
it almost came from a place of she wasn't even necessarily at that moment casting onto her sister. She's like, she's just fine in boarding school. Just like leave her there. She's being a problem child. Like she's being sassy and talking back to my new husband. And my husband doesn't really want to have her as a stepdaughter. So now she's gone. And like, that's on you. If you want to take her back, you're just babying her kind of thing. But like, of course, Jonah's going to take her in, but
yeah, but Joan knew that she was going to put her in that position where
yeah.
she was like, you planned this.
Yes,
like you planned this. And it's
she recognized that. She's like, I'm basically walking right into her plan. Like she of course, Barbara knew she wasn't going to let her just rot away at boarding school for the rest of forever and never come home for holidays. Because that's what she's saying. She's like, yeah, we're going to spend Thanksgiving here and Christmas here and New Year's Christmas. Here. Yeah. And like, tough luck.
And it's like, you can come home if you follow the rules. Like,
right. Like, okay.
Yeah. Which also, from the minute that man that Barbara ends up marrying gets introduced, that's when we start to see Barbara like drop Frances. Yeah. Because that's when she leaves her at school.
Yep.
Well, she doesn't have any reason to pay attention to Frances anymore because now she has the means to get rid of her.
That's what's so like awful about Barbara's character is she was like, it's for Frances. It's to give her a better life. So she can afford, like, we're going to have a swimming pool in the backyard and you're going to have the perfect room. And it was just so superficial. And Joan recognized, like, as soon as that was happening, that Frances does love her mother and missed her because she was like, you're making the
Rice Krispie treats.
Yeah, she was like, you're doing it wrong. My mom would have done it this way. Yeah. And then, like, it broke my heart. I think I started crying. I think that's the first time I started crying because I was like, that child loves her mom so much and her mom's just not there for her.
Yes.
Like,
and that was so brutal too. And then when Barbara gets pushed back from Joan on that, she's like, don't you want me to be happy? Like, I finally have the life I want.
Yes.
Like, you're never going to find that because you're not capable of love. But like, I have it now. Oh. It's like, oh my God.
I want to fight Barbara, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Same here.
Yep.
Awful character.
Just glad she's not in the room because we would all be...
Dude, I'll say
it would not be
face.
civil. Yeah, it would not be a civil conversation.
No.
But at the end of the day, I think what was best for Frances in that scenario where you know that Barbara is not going to be the mother that she needs is Frances to be there for her. And so by the end of where she is staying with Frances, I'm like, okay, she's in a safe environment where she's actually cared about. Like, it's heartbreaking for her because she recognizes that her mom doesn't want her. But at the end of the day, that's what's going to be her best route because this has been years of just sadness for her.
I think that was probably like the best day of her life.
Yes,
I mean,
probably.
honestly, she felt, I'm sure, that love that she'd been waiting for. That was just, I mean, and you felt it when you were reading it on the page. You were like, oh, my heart is so full. I can't contain it. Oh, there's the tears.
Yeah. She's like, grab your bags. And she's like, no, not just those. Grab all of them. You're coming home with me. We're going back to normal school.
Yeah, she's like, and leave your books. Like, you're not coming back,
getting milkshakes and PB&Js.
Yes.
We're ordering the Vanessa or whatever.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, speaking of Vanessa, we kind of hinted at the relationship ahead of time, but it does seem like once Vanessa gets to meet Joan's family and specifically Frances, like that's when I feel like we truly see Joan and Vanessa like start their romance.
Absolutely.
Like it became so much more real at that point.
Yeah, I really liked seeing Vanessa step outside her comfort zone on that. And I liked the way that, again, like you just love the way that they communicate with each other where they're like, I need this. This would make me happy. I'm not going to ask you to do this, but I will ask you to do this. It's up to you if you want to do it.
Yeah.
And I loved
Yeah.
it. I loved it.
Yeah.
It was so healthy.
It was. Because Vanessa knew that Frances was such an important piece of Joan's life. So she was so nervous going into meeting her. She's like, I'm not great with kids. Like, what if I mess this up? And Joan's like, kids are so easy. Like, she's going to love you.
What
and
if you didn't?
Right. Yeah. And she did love Vanessa. Like, she at one point asks, like, can Vanessa come over? And Joan's like, yes, she can.
That's going to make
Joan's
my night a lot easier. Thanks, kid.
He's like, I wanted to see Vanessa so bad myself.
Exactly.
Yeah. Great idea. All your idea, by the way.
Yeah.
Remember
you requested that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then even Vanessa like answers the phone and she's like, well, whatever Frances wants, Frances gets. Like, I'm there.
Right. And she just did such a beautiful job with it too, like
Yes.
opening up. And you could tell that, I don't know, Frances was just don't get me wrong, not in the best circumstance with Barbara, but at the same time, what a lucky kid.
Yeah.
Maybe lucky is really the right word because so many kids don't get that. But
I know.
They're in that situation without Joan in their life. And that's truly so heartbreaking. But Joan was like the light in her life. And
Yeah.
still not a fair childhood, obviously. But
I just wish that Joan had spoke up a little bit sooner with Barbara.
Yeah.
I think is the thing that gets me because
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, she knew what was going on. She knew exactly what she was walking into every single time. And it's like, what do you do?
I know. I would love like just a novella of what happens to Barbara and Joan's relationship past this because I feel like it is somewhat ambiguous because Joan never let Barbara down. Even when she came and picked up Frances, she was doing Barbara a favor.
Yeah.
And it's hinted at that like at one point Barbara never forgave Joan for hanging up the phone on her. And that kind of teases that like at some point their relationship heals a little, but she's like, oh, you hung up the phone on me. Like, I'm so mad about it. She's continuing the victim mentality in the future of being like, you hung up the phone on me. I don't know. I would just like to know more about that relationship in the future. Where we end it, it seems like they never talk again, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
Me neither. Joan, I feel like always has an issue with like setting boundaries for herself, and Vanessa would like push her to like have that confrontation because she's like, you're not getting treated how you should, and she's like, it's okay though. And I mean, we see that she's kind of always been like that. When she was younger, she would let kids cheat off of her in class, like just completely know they're cheating on her test, and she's like, okay, like she's just, I think she's always been a little bit of like, I guess, a people pleaser in that way, where she's fine with getting walked on because she wants the people around her to also be happy. And that's, I wish she had some confrontation with Barbara earlier too, but I think she was walking a delicate line of wanting to be in Frances's life to the extent that she was and not wanting to push Barbara away, because then maybe Barbara wouldn't rely on her like she was, because she's not relying on her mom like that. So I think she was just feeling like she wanted as much time as she could with Frances. It was a tough situation.
Yeah. And also, I just want to say, my favorite Frances and Joan moment was when Joan started rearranging her stars to be like accurate. I was like also crying. I was like, what a great aunt.
Oh my gosh. I love that.
That was so sweet. So sweet. All right, so we've kind of bashed Barbara like all the way to hell and back, and I'm sure we could say more. I'm sure we could say so much more. But like, let's get into the end of the book because we have to talk about the end of the book. And before we get there, our drinks are way too low. I think I need another drink. I might need another tissue. And we can wrap up with our final thoughts too. So, Paige is gonna handle our next drink.
Here we go. We are back with our next drink. Bethany's not excited at all. I decided to take us back a little bit more towards the beginning of the book when Joan is going out with all of her new friends at NASA for one of the first times, and they end up all bonding over a beer. Joan doesn't really drink beer, but she's got a Coors Light for the first time and loves it. I personally am not a beer drinker, so I had a coworker once was like, oh, you should try it, Coors Light, ooh, and then they put Mio into it. They're like, try it, I promise it's good. I know they were trying to mess with me and that it was probably not supposed to be anything and is not a thing, but I actually didn't hate it. At least made me tolerate the beer. So I'm curious to see if you guys would have the same experience. It might be terrible. We'll see.
It's
Bethany's
not
really excited.
beer colored, at least.
I don't know if I can even say cheers.
It's just fruit punch.
Cheers.
She didn't.
Wow.
It's something
so
else.
good.
Oh my gosh.
It's so delicious.
You hate it too?
Yeah.
You know, I would say, okay, here's my thing.
Yeah.
so bad.
I don't dislike beer. Okay, sorry, Bethany. I'm so
Is it the aftertaste?
Yeah, it's just
Yes.
beer aftertaste.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like the beer part, you don't taste as much because you taste fruit punch, but the aftertaste
For
is still
1
there.
Yeah.
second. Yeah.
Hey, does it not make it 100% more tolerable in that second?
For 1 second,
For
and then
one
the rest of
important
it
second.
still is there. I already drank water, so like 1 second out of the 2 minutes that I'm gonna have to suffer. I don't think that's really worth it.
I feel like I'd prefer just Coors without the.
I want to make a new drink so bad.
I want a hurricane. I need a hurricane.
We have more.
I want a dark side of the moon.
I'll just drink my red Coors.
Yeah, I mean,
silence.
it's.
I will not drink
You
that.
did warn.
That's fine.
I will say you did warn me to not put so much in mine, and maybe I should have listened.
There's more of just the regular Coors.
I'm gonna do a back to back and tell you which one I like more.
Oh, okay.
You are a brave soldier.
Honestly, I don't mind Coors. Like it's
Oh.
fine. All right. Here's my analysis. If you hate beer,
Yes.
I do see how you would like that.
Yes.
However, I do not like ciders that much. So for me, it's like a wannabe cider, but so much worse. So much worse. Where I'm like, dude, this tastes like water. I'd rather just drink the Coors. Like,
I hear you there. I'm a cider girl. So I
Ah.
think it's getting as close to cider as I can possibly get with a beer.
Fair. The only beer
Yeah.
that I've ever even been willing to take sips of is my husband's favorite alcohol is like Ace pineapple cider. I think is what it is.
Ciders
And
are so
it's
different.
pineapple flavored and it's so sweet and I don't mind. I will take a sip of it and it's like not a big deal. But like beer, no, like absolutely not. Never gonna happen. I will die hating beer and that's okay.
Sorry, I couldn't make it better for you.
No,
I
that's in
do
the book.
think
Beer,
it's 100% better than without, and that's
Fair.
just for someone that doesn't like beer.
but beer on my second read through, I just kept reading beer, and I was like, okay, yeah, like we actually have to drink a beer. Like that's just it's
Yeah,
in
I
the
didn't-
book constantly. The hurricanes are in the book for one sentence, like it literally just mentions it once.
Yeah,
beer is in the book like every other chapter.
Coors Light by name.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was Coors Light. And they are surprisingly delicious. Like, it's not my
No.
go-to beer, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
Not bad. All right, so speaking of grabbing a beer with, not really, but speaking of beer, who would you grab a beer with?
Mhm.
Ooh, that hard.
I mean, I think we're all going to be stuck between Joan and Vanessa.
Yeah.
I feel those are the obvious answers, and I want to grab a drink with both of them together. Like
I think that's fair. I think that's
Yeah.
a fair assessment. We
Yeah.
can bring both.
okay, then both of them together because they're adorable, but they also are
Yes.
both so inspiring, and I'd love to just
Yeah.
chat with them.
Yeah. I'm going to go a different direction and say Barbara. Because,
Is it a beer, though, or is it like,
oh, that's how you get her to go.
Yeah.
And then I could talk to Barbara for a minute.
I feel like
Barbara
like,
would leave.
yeah. I feel like the way to invite Barbara, if I had to assume, it would be like, do you want to go get a glass of wine? Or like, you can't say, do you want to grab a beer? 'Cause
No.
She's going to be like,
Hey,
no.
I'll pay if we can go to this school.
Hey, I'll buy you dinner.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, that's
One rule only, your daughter can't come.
Yeah, right.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, though, I would love to grab a milkshake with Frances.
Oh my gosh.
Like that'd be
yes.
so cute. She's
That-
adorable,
yes.
and she's like such a good kid.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
If we had to go like outside of main characters and like obviously don't need to spend time with Barbara, I would love to go for a beer with Donna. I really loved her character
Ooh,
so
yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Like, and I love that she's just doing it all.
Yeah.
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 I feel like
Yeah.
she's just such a nice, like, if you ask Donna what's going on, I feel like she's going to talk about all of her friends first and what's going on in their lives, and then she's going to tell you about what's going on with her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
That's fair.
I would learn about
Yeah.
everybody anyway.
Yeah. No, that's so true. I feel like there's nobody that I wouldn't want to grab a drink with. But for the plot, I'd love to grab a drink with Lydia and just be like, tell me what you're thinking, girly. Because she did have a great character arc. I'm not going to say like she was like awful.
Yeah.
But I would love just to know a little bit more about how she thinks sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of Lydia, should we talk about the ending here again and kind of get,
Ooh. Yeah, we
Yes.
have
Like, 'cause I mean,
to.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to know if you guys thought that it was going to end in a happy way, or if you thought it was going to go the other direction.
Ooh.
I was sobbing,
Yeah.
but the entire time I was like, there's no way it doesn't end in a happy ending. I did question myself a little bit because of those dreams and stuff she'd had.
Oh,
But
yeah.
at the same time, I was just like, there's no way. There's no way it could end like this. So I knew they were going to like do it, and I knew it was going to be like the last piece. But the only thing that I would have liked to see is like, I just wanted a little bit more of the reunion after and stuff. But
Yeah.
did we get an epilogue?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, we didn't get epilogue.
I would have loved an epilogue.
Yes.
Yeah.
I needed the epilogue, but I'm
dude,
glad
yeah.
that it ended the way it did. I didn't think that their love couldn't survive. It was too good.
Ooh, I respect your thoughts and feelings.
Yeah.
I was full on ugly crying because I was like, they have to kill her.
Yeah,
Like, I don't
I
know.
thought so too.
I was like, they're gonna kill. Well, they like Taylor.
Yeah.
was gonna kill her. Yeah, I was like, she's gonna kill her. I was like, because they set it up with the dreams where she's like, I see myself in a casket and I'm still like alive, but nobody knows. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's gonna like be brain dead or something. Or like, I was just like, it's gonna be so tragic, so hard.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't think Lydia would die somehow because I don't think we mentioned this, but Vanessa makes the decision not to save herself by like securing the hatch,
Mm-hmm.
basically taking more time. And she's like, I'm going to go now because Lydia saved us and I need to save Lydia, which is like so heroic too. We didn't even talk about that, but like, my God, more
Yeah.
about how Vanessa is amazing.
Yeah.
And because of that decision, I was like, that's going to be how she dies. It links up with her dad's character, which is who she like loved and admired. And Joan was, I'm going to like tear up just even talking about it. Joan was like sitting there, like believing that she had died because we lose like signal. And like, she's like, navigator, and like screaming. I'm like going to start crying. And she's just like, answer me. And like, of course she can't because like, it seems like she's dead. And I was like, oh my God. And then Joan has this moment where she's like, oh, how peaceful it was to like love somebody that hard and to like be in love like that. And like how nice it was while it lasted. And I'm like, it's ugly crying. And I was like, that's where it ends. That's where it ends. And Joan's alone for forever with just her and Francis. And then like at the last, like, I don't know, page or so, we get Vanessa coming back. And then the ugly tears started again. I was like, she just made it. Oh my God. And Joan says like, maybe we can have everything we wanted. And I was just like, my heart shattered again. Oh my God. I really didn't see her making it like at all. I thought she was so dead.
I just didn't think if it ended any other way that the book would have done as well. Like, I just don't know.
I so disagree.
I think it. I think it would
it
have.
could have.
People love a sad book.
Yeah.
That's true. But I was just like, there's no
I
way it doesn't
don't,
have a
but-
happy ending. Like, I was just like, there's just no way. It was.
I mean, honestly, to me, I would give it the same rating if it did end the other way,
Yeah.
and I was prepared for that. And
Yeah.
I was so happy that it didn't because I'm a sucker for a happy ending. Like
I was ready.
Yeah.
But I was
Yeah.
not. I was like, how do I explain this? Basically, I think for me, while I was reading it, I was in a really, really vulnerable position with understanding how Joan was feeling and everything that she was going through. But because the love story was just so great and everything that they had learned along the way, I was just like, there's no way that they could do this. So maybe it was also me just rose-colored glasses and everything.
Mm-hmm.
If they had ended it the other way, I mean, I would have understood.
Yeah.
But you know what it is? She made the choice to save Lydia. So
Yeah.
I thought they had to both live. There was no way they were both going to die. And that self-sacrifice, I thought, earned her a spot home. I don't know. I mean, it begs question too, like, you know, if she had done something different, would she still have made it? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Also, there's this whole dynamic in the book too of like, you know, what is the universe and God and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I was also looking at the book through that kind of lens. And I was just like, it just makes sense.
Yeah, overall, I thought the ending was like the most satisfying it could have been to me. I loved that it pulled on your heartstrings like that,
Oh,
but then
yeah.
also at the very end gave you exactly what you were hoping for. Like,
Yeah.
I know some people love sad endings, and Abe makes fun of me for this because he is completely fine if like a movie ends in a sad way, and I'm not. Like, I would be so on board for a movie, and then it ends tragically, and I'm like, hated it. And he's like, no, you didn't. You loved it. I'm like, no, I hated it.
Yeah.
It's like I am like that with books to an extent. I do give them more grace than like, for some reason, movies, it bothers me more. So this would have been the same rating for me, but I'm so happy that she ended it how she did.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it would have been the same rating for me, but
Same. Yeah.
I I feel like you got that heartwarming feeling again at the end, which I think
Yeah.
is just what makes you want to share it with everybody
Yes.
versus this
Yeah.
book wrecked me.
Right. It doesn't.
Like,
you don't have to
wrecked
give
me in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I gained something from this. And this, I guess, is maybe the difference too. And I don't know if I'm jumping the gun into going into like what your ratings and stuff were.
Yeah.
But somebody told me like a 5 has to be like life changing. And I was
Yeah.
like, this was a life changing book.
It
You
was.
Yeah.
walk around looking at things through a little bit of a different lens. And I
Yeah.
really appreciate Joan for that. Thanks
Yes.
for teaching
Yeah.
me some lessons.
Yeah, I think we should
Yeah.
definitely dive into ratings. So I feel like the consensus all around is 5 stars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Which is the first time, and this was also our first romance book. I mean, when a romance book is done right, you can do it really beautifully. And I hope that
Yeah.
goes to show that maybe Taylor's got some really great people in her life that have brought all of these nice ideas into her
Yeah.
sphere.
Yes, yeah. And
Yeah.
her genre isn't like necessarily romance.
No,
I
not
should
always.
add. No. She writes kind of a wide variety. I think I would say the most common denominator is mostly some aspect of historical fiction, but she really just the I guess the most common denominator I will say is just the character dive. Like you get to know a character so well.
Yeah.
And no matter what they're doing in their life, you like have to read because you want to know what's happening next.
Yeah.
But I would definitely not classify her as a romance author. She has some earlier books
Yeah.
I haven't read yet actually that are more romance heavy, I believe, but the ones I mentioned are not necessarily romancy.
It really just was the human experience that she
Yes.
wrote
Yes.
so well.
I totally agree. Cause like I was reading this book and like, I mean, it's set in 1980, right? And we're in 2025. Hopefully this doesn't age poorly. But like I saw parts of myself throughout the story where I was like, man, I like like you said, they're talking about God and stuff. And I was like, man, like who doesn't still have that conversation of like faith and religion and like
What is my
life's-
place in the
yes,
world?
Yes.
exactly. I was like, it is so well written that it doesn't feel out of time and out of touch, even though some of the queer shaming is out of time and out of touch. It was written so well with that aspect, but you don't read it and be like, it's just not like that anymore. Like you read it
Yeah.
and it's so human. It's so human.
Yeah.
And it 5 stars.
Yeah, and I think that's a talent of hers is no matter what character she's writing, you can see a little bit of yourself in that character.
Yeah.
Like even if you don't relate to that entire life, you can always see snippets of some just general human aspect that everybody feels.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. So read the book if you haven't. If you
Yes.
watched us for this
Yeah.
long and, you know, didn't read the book, you must really like us, but I'm sorry we spoiled it.
It's life changing.
It's
If you suffer from the human condition, this book is for you.
Yeah.
right.
I was so glad
Yeah.
you guys loved it because I mean, this is one of my favorite books ever. So when we picked it, I was so nervous. I was like, if they hate it, I'm going to be so sad.
I don't think you're human if you read this book.
The lesson that you learn here, the most beautiful part of the book is that, you know, Joan's off in space. And to me, it's that moment where, and Vanessa experiences it too, where she's like, I just got to get home. I got to
Yes.
do whatever, but I also need to do right by myself to save Lydia and do this thing. So I'm going to do this self-sacrificing move potentially.
Yeah.
Because I will not be able to live with myself if I didn't do the best for the people that I care about.
Right.
And then same with Joan and just being able to look out the window and be
Yeah.
like, I need to be home. This is what
Yeah.
matters. It's all about this. It's all about
yeah, she's like
the people
looking
around
for
me.
Francis in the like
Yeah.
atmosphere.
Yeah.
Like
Well, she even acknowledges, guess what? You're
Yeah.
a speck.
yeah.
You're nothing. Like you don't, I mean, of
Yeah.
course, every single person matters. But like in the grand scheme of like the universe, she's like, wow, that
Yeah.
one person is so like, this is a
Yeah.
whole universe. But I
Yes.
matter and I have value and I have this life because of all the people around me that I get to share it with, all of everyone that you see in your day. That's the whole point.
And that's where she ties it into like that's God is having
Yeah.
like a relationship with everybody and being part of a collective, which is like also like such a complex narrative to bring into this kind of story, but
Mhm.
was done so well where it wasn't
was.
like who, what? You're like,
Yeah.
because she even goes, she's like, I probably sound high, but it didn't. Like, I read that and I was like, oh my God.
That blew my mind. That was one of
Yes.
my other favorite. There's so many favorite parts. You can
Yes.
pick whatever, pick a chapter. I'll tell you my favorite part of the chapter.
Right.
But
Yeah.
there was so many really great moments. And at the beginning, we were like, you know, it's kind of going over different genres. I don't really know where to place it because it was so good.
Yeah.
It says a love story, and that's like it's so much more than
I
just
feel like
that.
it should say a life story.
Yeah.
It's just,
And I also will say it's like just over 300 pages, and I like after reading it, like I flew through it. I'm not saying it read like it was a long book, but I can't believe that she was able to pack so much into just 300 pages. Like I feel like I know the ins and outs of all these characters, and they went through a whole journey. And for that to be a 300-page book is like hats off. Like I cannot believe that's possible.
This will literally not be a waste of your time.
No.
It takes no time at all, and you'll be better for it at the end.
I've read like 500-page slow burn romances that have a tenth of the substance that this book has. Like I'll keep saying it. It's life changing.
Yes.
It's
an
5
actual
stars.
5.
Yes.
Yeah.
5 stars.
Yeah.
I know I've given other books a 5 on this podcast, but like this one's
5 plus.
yeah, this one's like, and then some.
I feel like that's how I am with my ratings. So like I give out 5 stars. I've said this before kind of liberally, but this, like, there's every once in a while a book that I'm like, no, that's like 6 stars. That's infinite. That's this book to me. Like there are some books that are just like beyond a rating. Like there's not enough stars in the world. Like this is everything.
It is the stars.
Yeah. That's what it is.
How appropriate.
All right. On that note, I think that about wraps up our discussion. Although I do feel like I could talk for hours more about this book, but it's 11 p.m. and we've got to get home. But our next book, we are going back to a thriller next. We are reading One Dark Night by Hannah Ritchell, and we're really excited for that. We do love thrillers, so join in next time.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see Taylor Jenkins again.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh yeah. Yeah, life changing.